What is up, everybody? This is the third episode of Forbidden Podcast here on Furious Nation on YouTube and the Hardcore Sports. This is your favorite duo of the Forbidden Podcast. This is Furious Nation. Adam Carl in the house as well. Third episode of the Forbidden Podcast once again. Saturday today, May the 10th of 2025. I am one of the co-hosts of this Forbidden Podcast, Nick Fury, Furious Nation. What's Adam Carl? How you doing, bro?
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here. It's doing this podcast again. It's been fun doing it. This is episode 3.
Absolutely, man. And we got quite some stuff to talk about today. We got Backlash later on today, which, by the way, there will be a watch party for that. Mitch and I will be on there. Sarah on there as well. And speaking of Mitch, says, have a great show, guys. Thank you, Mitch. Yes, he and I and Sarah will be on the Backlash watch party tonight. That's at 7, which Backlash starts tonight. We got John Cena, Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. We got 5 other matches on the show. Jacob Fatu defending the U.S. title, so on and so forth. So that's later on tonight. If you haven't checked out yet already, after this live stream's over, if you want to check out last night, the SmackDown watch party with Mitch and I for the SmackDown watch party a night ago was the SmackDown before Backlash. The Go Home, the SmackDown side of the Go Home show for Backlash switches later on tonight from SmackDown a night ago. They were live in Dayton, Ohio. Really good wrestling. The work rate on that show last night, I will say, was very, very good. Vraxium and the Street Profits stole the show. Nia Jax and Jade Cargill surprisingly had a good match. We had the return of Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, unfortunately, on our television screens, and we had Drew McIntyre lay waste to everyone. We had Aleister Black wrestle Carmelo Hayes, and also John Cena, Randy Orton in their ending segment last night on SmackDown. Unfortunately, a fan threw a beer bottle in the ring, but he was kicked out after he threw a Michelob beer bottle in the ring when Mark Nash was introducing John Cena, and some guy in the front row threw a bottle in the ring, and he got apparently quickly escorted out by security. I mean, what a clown! You don't go to show to do something like that, and that's
real heat.
I mean.
That's heat.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be banned from wrestling events for life, that and jumping the barricade, it's stupid. Why even do that? It's just, I don't get that. But that's a conversation for another day. We got a lot to talk about with Backlash. We're going to give our favorite Backlash events moments, preview predictions for Backlash later on today as well. Backlash later on today will be live from St. Louis, Missouri, Randy Orton's hometown. But before we get started, please hit the like on the video. It would help the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to Furious Nation and as well as the Hardcore Sports Network on YouTube. And hit the bell for all notifications. It would be greatly appreciated, guys. And also go follow me on X, FuryNick579. You can follow Adam Carl on X as well. Links in the description.
Instagram.
Yep, and Instagram as well. Both on Instagram as well. So give us a follow. It'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. So we're gonna get started here. We're gonna first go over our favorite Backlash moments, top 3 favorite Backlash events out of all the Backlash events. The first one was 1999, and then we have Backlash, obviously, for 2025 later on tonight. They've been all over the world, Lyon, France. They've been in the U.S., obviously. But I am actually going to give my top 3 favorite Backlash events / moments. I'm going to go with my the top 3. First, number 1. Now, this is just ranking, not ranking one being better than the other, but if I had to pick my favorite top 3 Backlash events / moments of all time, it would be Backlash 2016, absolutely. Backlash last year when they were in Lyon, France. And then also, believe it or not, Backlash 2009, which was the last Backlash before they brought back Backlash pay-per-view in 2016. That was where Backlash 09, they had like John Cena versus Edge in a last man standing match for the world title. Legacy versus Batista, Triple H, and Shane McMahon in a 6-man tag for the WWE Championship, where Orton won the title and punted Triple H in the head. What's up, Cameron Johnson? Nick and Adam, what's up, Cameron Johnson? Hope you're doing well. And thank you for tuning in, man. Make sure you're subscribed to Fury Race Nation Hardcore Sports. And he says, hope you are doing well. Backlash should be good tonight. Yeah, I mean,
hopefully.
Hopefully Cena and Orton delivers, because their program's been nice, their promo's been nice, but the match I expect it to not be good, but I hope I'm proven wrong. But the rest of the card, otherwise, it should definitely be a good show tonight. But yeah, Backlash 09, Legacy versus Batista, Triple H and Shane McMahon, 6-man tag for the WWE title. You had Christian win the ECW championship. You had Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy at I Quit match. Overall, I thought Backlash 09 was good. I like the theme song. Seasons by Veer Union was a good theme song. It was a pay-per-view after WrestleMania 25 in 2009. You had Chris Jericho versus Ricky Steamboat and a very, very good match. I think that was Ricky Steamboat's last active match in WWE. But it was a good
single match ever, I think, with the company.
Because that year he went in the Hall of Fame as well. 2009 Hall of Fame was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah.
And that was coming out of WrestleMania 25, that pay-per-view. Because you had Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy in their Extreme Rules match at WrestleMania 25. Then they had their I Quit match where Jeff got his win back because Matt won at WrestleMania 25 in the Extreme Rules match. Then in the SmackDown after Mania in 09 in a stretcher match on SmackDown, Matt beat Jeff again. Then the 09 draft, Matt Hardy went to Raw in the draft that year in 09. And Jeff beat his brother Matt in an I Quit match. Really good stuff. And then, like I said, Edge and John Cena, where Edge brought the World Heavyweight title back to SmackDown after Big Show chokeslam. John Cena off the stage threw some like big LED and like big explosion, and Edge won the title back after Cena won the world title again at WrestleMania 25. Really, really good stuff. And one of the most, and honestly, if you were to and it's sad that Edge is not is in AEW now, because with John Cena's retirement year, imagine a heel Cena versus a face Edge would have been something, because Edge and Cena had a very, very good rivalry in 2006 when Edge cashed in his first Money in the Bank on Cena. It was really great stuff. Really good. But yeah. And then, like I said, Christian beating Jack Swagger to win the ECW title when Christian was like the John Cena of ECW at the time. He was like their John Cena of the show, carried the show on his back. Really, really good stuff. And they were in Providence, Rhode Island. Really, really good stuff, man, I'll tell you. So Backlash 2009, I think, was very underrated, and that's why it's in my top 3. Then my number 2, second other favorite Backlash of all time. Well, I mean, I would have to say Backlash 09 number 3. Number 2, 1, like ranked 1 to 3, 1 being the best. Number 3, I'd have to rank for Backlash 09. Number 2, Backlash 2024, last year when they were in Lyon, France. Just the crowd was incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Honestly, that was fantastic.
Yeah, singing Randy Orton's music. Oh, yeah. And they were singing Randy Orton's Voices theme music. They had the debut of Tonga Loa. This was before Jacob Fatu came in. They reunited.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. The Girls of Destiny reunited at Backlash last year. It's a 6-man tag, or was it? I think it was a tag match.
It was a tag team match. Randy and KO against Solo and Tama Tonga.
Yes, it was last year. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and that was where Tonga Loa returned or debuted/returned, because he was Camacho his first WWE run, but he came back last year at Backlash in Lyon, France. Yeah. You had Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles for the main event for the WWE title, and everyone just singing Cody's theme. It was beautiful sight to see.
And you see the camera shaking when AJ Styles does his pose and his introduction.
Yeah. It was a really good pay-per-view for Backlash. Really, really good. And also really women's very underrated. just beating Io Sky for the women's title at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. But yeah, I would say definitely Backlash 2024, in my opinion, my top and number 2 in my top 3 for best Backlash events of all time / moments. Definitely up there, number 2 for Backlash 2024. And then for number 1 favorite Backlash of all time, in my opinion, is Backlash 2016. And that was actually the first Backlash event since Backlash 2009. And Backlash 2016 actually happened to be on September 11th, 2016. It was on 9/11. It was the 15-year sad anniversary of 9/11. But
sadly,
yeah, they love the intro where it's like "God Bless America, USA," and then the unfortunate victims of 9/11, and it was, I mean, beautiful opening, beautiful intro for that year's Backlash in 2016. It was just a few weeks right after SummerSlam in 2016. It was the first because they had the 2016 brand split and draft. They had SmackDown Live on live Tuesday nights on USA Network. Well, obviously Monday Night Raw live on every Monday Night Live on USA Network. They just brought back the second brand split. They had SummerSlam in Barclays in Brooklyn 2016 for SummerSlam. And then a few weeks after was Backlash, which was a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. They just brought back the brand exclusive pay-per-views in the fall of 2016. And this is the first brand exclusive pay-per-view for the first time in years where Backlash 2016 was a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. It was live on the WWE Network. And I think they were live in Richmond, Virginia. Their theme song, underrated, good banger. I think, and I still have it on my phone. It's but yeah, it's, if I can find the theme music, it's actually a banger, and it's actually in the intro. So I can find it. Here it is. Stronger. It's called Stronger.
You got a show to do here.
What? Yeah, I know.
You got a show to do here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but here we go. I mean, could flip all day, but yeah, we got a show to do. But yeah, it's called Stronger, but really good music, and yeah, it's some, and it honestly, like, and it set the tone for SmackDown Live being the A show in late 2016. Like, the build has had a lot to be desired, but man, they knocked it out of the park for this Backlash 2016 show, and it really set the tone that SmackDown Live was truly their A show in 2016. Like, you had Becky Lynch become the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. You had that feud with Carmella at the time with Nikki Bella. And you had the rise of Naomi and Alexa Bliss. You had Natalya there, who wasn't bad at all over at the time. And then you had Dolph Ziggler and The Miz for the Intercontinental title when Miz had his really good work in 2016 as Intercontinental Champion. Like, he was like so good in 2016. I'm not a big Miz fan today, but I'll tell you, 2016, he did some of the best work of his career, especially his rivalry in late 2016 with Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. And this was coming right after the Talking Smack promo that Miz cut on Daniel Bryan when Bryan said to Miz that he wrestled like a coward. And it was great, that promo on Talking Smack. Fantastic.
That was the best version of The Miz.
Yeah. And like, The Miz just went off. It was unscripted. It was absolutely just awesome. No pun intended, but then you had Ziggler come integrated because Bryan at the time still had the concussion, couldn't wrestle yet until 2 years later. But Ziggler and Miz had some good chemistry. They even had, it led to No Mercy 2016, where Ziggler put his career on the line, won the Intercontinental title. Then you had Heath Slater and Rhino become the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and Heath Slater was organically getting over with the I Got Kids storyline. Rhino came in. He was supposed to be like an enhancement talent, I think, at the time on SmackDown in 2016. And he became a tag team champion with Heath Slater, who was very over at the time. And they beat the Usos in a tournament where the Usos had just turned heel. They ditched the face paint, like Uso crazy, like the Flying Usos face paint gimmick with the Siva Tau war dance. They ditched that gimmick and it became the Usos that we see today with the Uso Penitentiary and stuff in the Yeet. And you see where the Usos are at today. Not that heel turn, the Usos will not be where they are at today, Jay and Jimmy. And they were feuding with American Alpha of Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Very underrated team. Man, I miss Jason Jordan. And but they had that. They had the Hype Bros, and then Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and then AJ Styles winning the WWE Championship for the very first time, beating Dean Ambrose. At the time, he won with a low blow. Then he hit the Styles Clash, won the title, and he, quote, became the face that runs the place just after beating John Cena a few weeks before at SummerSlam clean, which I was there live. So I thought Backlash 2016, in my opinion, is the number one Backlash, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
I mean, not a bad list at all. I mean, they were all fantastic shows for real.
Absolutely.
For real. Exactly.
I mean, AJ Styles pretty much beat Cena. He was going to win the title very soon, and he was pretty much like the John Cena of SmackDown in 2016. From 2016 to 2019, AJ was like their Cena on the Blue brand. Like the champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place, SmackDown Live, the house that AJ Styles built. And then you had James Ellsworth in there. Even that was not bad.
Yeah.
It was really good television. It almost, SmackDown in 2016 felt like NXT Black and Gold.
I would say this was like the greatest period of SmackDown in since 02? 03,
Absolutely.
When Heyman was running the show?
Yeah. He had the SmackDown 6. We built SmackDown around 6 guys.
Yeah.
And then 2016 when they brought it back and you have AJ Styles at the top of the mountain, you got Ambrose, you got Ziggler, you got Bray Wyatt, you got The Miz.
This was like a kind of a recreation of SmackDown 6.
You had Baron Corbin as well. Baron Corbin also on the rise, so I forgot to mention him.
If anything, you can. This was kind of like the SmackDown 6 in a way. Styles, Ambrose / Moxley, Miz,
Ziggler.
Bray.
Yeah, absolutely. And Corbin just got called up for the main roster.
Maybe you can add Corbin in there. Maybe I guess you can.
Who?
Yeah, Corbin. I guess you can add him in there. He was on the rise.
Or if you wanted to add it honor SmackDown 7th and 8th, you could add Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
And Alexa was actually very good at the time. Becky was the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion because Sasha and Charlotte were dominating on Raw, while Becky Lynch was drafted to SmackDown. No other horsewoman. Bayley was just called up to Raw from NXT to Raw right after SummerSlam that year. So 3/4 of horsewomen on Raw, but only one on SmackDown. That was Becky Lynch, and she really and she won the SmackDown Women's title for first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. And she took the ball and ran with it. I mean, her reign could have been better, but she was at the top of the mountain on SmackDown. So Alexa took the belt off her, but yeah, it was great. Really, really good stuff, and they were in Richmond and good crowd. But I want to get your favorite top 3 Backlash PLE / pay-per-view / moments. I want to hear from you.
Favorite Backlash PLEs? Favorites? I will say number 3 will be the Backlash 07. I think.
That's an underrated one, yeah.
Yeah. Backlash 07 will be like in the number 3 spot, that fatal 4-way, for the championship.
Oh, Shawn Michaels, Edge, Orton, and Cena for the WWE title, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, this is probably the greatest fatal 4-way match they've ever put on.
Yeah, and that
if it's not the best, if it's not the best one, it's probably maybe top 3.
Yeah, and man, that finish of that fatal 4-way, man, where how Cena retained when he was the WWE champion at the time.
Yeah.
Man, absolutely fantastic. I think he had Edge Orton with the spear. Then
Edge hit Orton with the spear, Cena hit Edge with the AA, and the Michaels hit Cena with the Sweet Chin Music.
But then after Cena got hit with Sweet Chin Music, he landed on top of Orton, and Orton's shoulders were down. Referee saw the pin, and Shawn didn't realize it, and he was too late. It was a second too late to break up the count, and Cena ended up winning and retained. It was great, though. Really, really great stuff.
It was great.
Shawn and Cena just came off a classic from WrestleMania 23 in Detroit, Ford Field. Then they lost the tag titles in the Battle Royal, the tag team Battle Royal the next night on Raw, where they lost the World Tag Team titles to the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. Well, I think the Hardys defended the titles that night against Trevor Murdoch and Lance Cade. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, some antivirus or like whatnot was like expired. It's just some kind of thing. I just got rid of it. Anyways, but yeah, Cena and Michaels lost their World Tag Team titles to the Hardys in the Battle Royal, the Raw to WrestleMania 23. Then they continue their beef, and I think they had and then let's not forget their classic underrated match.
I think it was on Raw in London.
Yeah, it was in London, the Raw before Backlash 07. Cena and Michaels, they went for like an hour. Classic match. One of the matches of the year of 2007, where Michaels won.
I'd say one of the greatest matches I've seen in his career.
Yeah, he tried to Ace Michaels land on his feet, switching music, and covered Cena.
Yeah.
They went like a full 60 minutes on that 2-hour Raw, man. Great stuff.
That was excellent.
And then I think you had Batista, Undertaker, the last
man standing. Last man standing match, yeah.
Yeah, spear off the stage, and it was a draw. Now it's just the beginning of Batista and Undertaker's rivalry in 2007, which they had a banger rivalry. I don't care what anyone says. Great chemistry they had at the time. They stole a show at WrestleMania 23. Then they stole a show in the Last Man Standing. Then they battled in the cage match and Hell in a Cell.
They never had a bad match. They never had one.
No. They even, I think they had a chairs match at TLC 09, but that wasn't that bad, but could have been worse. But they never disappointed when they got in the ring and wrestled. Then they had Edge involved. Could be worse.
I mean, Batista could be wrestling Bad Hips Undertaker. Could be worse.
Yeah. Then you had Edge involved in 07 when he cashed in his second Money in the Bank on the Dead Man after the attack from Mark Henry. It was after their cage match on SmackDown where there was a draw.
What else you had on the show? You had that do-rag, Vince McMahon winning the ECW championship.
Oh, God. Yeah, when Bobby Lashley was... This was Roman Reigns' forced babyface in 2018 before Roman Reigns was a forced babyface in 2018. And Bobby Lashley in 2007. It was not good.
So funny. This is so great.
It was not good. But yeah, I mean, it was funny. But I mean, ECW was already dead as a brand in 07. Let's be real.
What else you had? I think we mentioned the Hardy Boys earlier. I think they defended the tag belts against Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch.
Yep. You did. Yep, you did. That was a good match.
We had Mickie James and Melina for the Women's Championship.
Yeah. Surprisingly, that Backlash year pay-per-view in 07 was all title matches, surprisingly.
Yeah. This was Night of Champions, before Night of Champions.
Yeah. A few months later in Houston.
And unfortunately, one other match that was a title match was the U.S. title match, MVP against...
Yeah, I know, Benoit. But that was in Atlanta, Georgia, his hometown. But yeah, 2 months before.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. But other than that, I thought this was just an underrated Backlash pay-per-view in 07. But bro, Adam Carl, I want to hear your two other favorite Backlash pay-per-view / moments.
My favorite Backlash PLE second one, I may be cheating here, but I will also go Backlash 2024.
No, that's not cheating at all. I think Backlash 2024 was a lot of people's favorite Backlash.
Yeah, I will go that one as well. I mean, what more needs to be said? You know, the crowd, the matches. This was coming out of WrestleMania 40 as well.
Yeah, and it was the first Backlash of the Triple H era, administration era. Honestly, coming out of WrestleMania 40, which to me is one of the most greatest WrestleManias maybe ever. When Cody Rhodes finished his story, beat Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title after holding that championship for 4 years. And they had the Avengers come back. It was great. Where Undertaker came out, chokeslammed The Rock. You had Seth Rollins in the Shield vest. You had John Cena come out and Jey Uso come out. It was great.
Yeah, and to follow it up with one of the all-time best WrestleManias to arguably the greatest Backlash of all time. I mean, that's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. Like 5 matches, and I thought they all brought it, man. Even Jade Cargill and Bianca, when they won the women's tag titles from the Kabuki Warriors. And this was the last time Asuka was wrestling before she got unfortunately injured. She got injured in the match. Hasn't been seen since.
I think she was already injured heading into this match. I think she's been injured since March of last year.
Yeah, but hopefully she's back soon, man, because they could use her.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully her and Kyrie are back.
Yeah. And David Putnam in the chat says, "Yo, Nick, what's up, David? Hit the like, man. Great, be greatly appreciated." But yeah, Lyon, France, like you said, the crowd. I don't think they've ever had a PLE in France until last year. It was great, though.
Yeah. They're going to have one another, but this time in Paris with Clash.
Yep. August 31st. late
It's
August.
actually fun fact that show is actually taking place on my birthday. Fun fact.
Yeah. So it's a happy early birthday, Adam Carl.
Yeah. Happy early birthday also to Jeff Hardy.
Yes, August 31st.
Because it's also taking place on his birthday. How funny, by the way, if he actually appears on that show. How funny that would, how cool that would
be. Right? Imagine.
Yeah, how cool would that be?
Oh, man. But yeah. You got your Backlash 07, 2024. And what is if I have to ask you, your third favorite Backlash?
My favorite Backlash, what would be number one?
Yeah.
I would say I gotta go with Backlash 2000.
Backlash 2000, okay.
Yeah, I think Backlash 2000. I mean, this, and for the specific reason is that this was coming out of a disappointing WrestleMania 16, where every match, other than like one match, well, if you could call it a match,
yeah.
Well, every one of them was like tag matches after tag matches, multi-man match.
Oh God.
And we had that fucking McMahon in every quarter match that had Mick Foley, the Big Show, in the main event.
Yeah.
But realistically, should have been Rock versus Triple H.
Yeah, and they had added Big Show and Mick Foley in there, and this was Foley's last WrestleMania until WrestleMania 22, where he wrestled Edge in a hardcore match in Chicago.
No, that wasn't his. That wasn't the gap from WrestleMania 16 to 22. No, I think he had a match at WrestleMania 20.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Because he wrestled. The Backlash match in 04 was with Orton.
Yeah, that was an underrated banger. Orton and Mick Foley. Yeah. That was when Orton was the Intercontinental Champion and still in Evolution, and that match really made Randy Orton. I think it was though Mick Foley as Cactus Jack. I think.
Yeah.
He had the RKO on the thumbtacks. I mean, that really made Randy Orton a legend killer.
Yeah. Honestly, if we're talking about if we're talking Backlash moments, I think I would say this is probably like the second best Backlash moment ever for me.
Which one? 2000 or 2004?
From 2004. I think in terms of that match, I'm speaking on that match only. I think this is for me the best Backlash match ever. And I would say the visual of Orton, he's screaming in agony because he has thumbtacks all over. That is lives on.
Some thumbtacks on his back, and I think he had the baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire across the forehead of Orton, and I think he got busted open.
Yeah.
It was, underrated. I think they were in Canada too. Underrated Backlash for sure. And they had a rematch, that main event, that show for WrestleMania 20 main event. I know we don't like to mention his name, Benoit, but he defended the title against Michaels and Triple H. This was just as good as their WrestleMania 20 match.
Yeah. I will say, though, the reason I don't add I will say that show was also good, but it's kind of like a two-match show, if you ask me. It's kind of like a two-match show.
Yeah, they did have Edge beat Kane, and then
they had Edge and Kane. Did the Hurricane and was the Hurricane? I think the Hurricane and
Rosie, the brother of Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Rosie got his soul. It's the brother of Roman Reigns. Yeah, he and the Hurricane did tag up. They wrestled on the show. Chris Jericho wrestled Christian and Trish Stratus after
in
Trish
the handicap match. This was after WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, after Trish turned on Jericho. The Garden.
I think Victoria defended her women's title on that card.
Yes, against Lita.
Yeah, this was before the Kane storyline, but let's not talk about it.
Yeah, that was not a good rivalry.
No, let's pretend that never happened.
Yeah,
we talk about giving something to Benoit treatment. Let's give that the Benoit treatment.
Yeah, Kane and Matt Hardy from SummerSlam 04 till death. It was garbage.
That's just that entire storyline in general. Lita and Kane in general, not just with Matt Hardy, just in general.
Vince McMahon had some twisted, not so good storylines in 04, I'll tell you.
Who thought a fake pregnancy storyline in 2004 was a good idea?
Who thought? And then Lita getting pregnant and Gene Snitsky punting the baby, which it wasn't real. It wasn't real.
It was so goofy.
It was fake.
The punting of the punt, that segment, that was great.
But Gene Snitsky would say, it wasn't my fault.
That was great. I will never hear a slander of it. That was fantastic. That segment.
Yeah,
We love
but
Gene
yeah.
Snitsky here.
Yeah,
But
Gene
yeah, that
Snitsky.
storyline, yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was.
It's just
It was.
awful.
But yeah, I feel like this was, to me. I agree with you. This was like a
Yeah, but that was
two-match
a two
show.
match show with Backlash 2000. There was obviously the main event. What should have been the WrestleMania main event that year with Rock and Triple H.
Yeah,
This
and like
was
here.
electric. Find
And
me
this is
another match, or find me one of the a few matches that has a crowd reaction that it was so as loud, sustainably loud as this match was.
yeah, and this is where
From
Stone Cold came out and helped The Rock win the championship off Triple H.
yeah, from the moment the glass shatters,
Yeah, and he
and then
crazy
also
pop.
he hits the entire McMahon Helmsley faction. The Stooges,
Yeah,
Shane and Vince,
drops him with stunners.
yeah, and Triple H, to
And
all the
then
way to when The Rock is about to hit the people's elbow, and then the 1, 2, 3, and the celebration just electric.
Incredible. And that was where Steve Austin was still recovering from neck surgery after he quote got ran over at the 1999 Survivor Series.
Yeah,
But that was
you
before
had, you
Rikishi.
had Jericho and Benoit. Here he is again.
Yeah, for the Intercontinental title. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't like what Benoit did, but he was a good wrestler.
I'd say that match was good as well. That was an excellent match. This was following, with Jericho when I think Benoit won the IC belt.
Yeah, that two triple threats for the one for the European and then for the Intercontinental. I think it involved China. I think
Kurt Angle.
Or Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
I think it was Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that was an excellent match.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle wrestled on the show against Big Show Hogan.
or Big Show. It's the Big Show.
Yeah, he dressed up as Hogan.
Oh God.
That's exactly what I needed. The cupping of the year. What you gonna do, brother? Yeah, that's exactly what I needed in the year 2000.
Oh, that'll work for me, brother. Oh, that'll work for me, brother.
Yeah, that's exactly what we needed in 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to see this in 2000, and we damn sure nobody wants to see it in the year 2025. That's for sure.
Please, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would get up and walk away if I seen that on my TV in 2025. I'll tell you.
Yeah. What else? I think
Dylan
Dean Malenko
Ketchum.
defended the light heavyweight championship against Scotty 2 Hotty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd say that was an underrating match.
Yeah.
It was a gem on that show. Now, Dean Malenko, an underrated guy in terms of in-ring work. I mean, he was. If you talk about perfect in-ring wrestlers, I mean, he was a perfectionist in there.
Yeah.
I would say this was like the best match of Scotty 2 Hotty's career. I will say.
Yeah. But guys, that is our.
What else was on this show as well? I think the hardcore title match. Crash Holly defended against the Hardys. Taz, I think was Taz in there.
Yeah, Taz was in there as long. Yeah, Taz was in there as well. Perry Saturn and Crash's cousin Hardcore Holly.
Yeah.
The Holly cousins in there.
Yeah, Crash Holly was entertaining. He birthed the 24/7. Every segment he had with that hardcore championship is just a joy to watch.
Another one, God rest his soul, Crash Holly. He passed away in 2003. Unfortunately, he was so underrated, man. It was Crash, and a very iconic theme music, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian defended the tag belts against DX,
Road Dogg and X-Pac.
Road Dogg and X-Pac. Billy Gunn by that point was long gone from the faction.
Yeah, he was on his own, I believe. You had the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan, or B Squared, the former manager rapper for John Cena in the early Ruthless Aggression era.
It was, the Dudley Boys wrestled Albert and Test.
Yeah, and then Eddie Guerrero.
Was this also the match as well? Where Bubba Ray, he put Trish through a table.
I think
this was after this was after the match. Trish, distracted Bubba Ray, and then he lost via big boot to Test, and then post match, Bubba Ray put Trish through a table.
Yeah,
I think this was like a month after Trish came into the company.
Yes,
she was still new on the roster. Then she took this this nasty bump. She took it like a pro.
Yeah. And then Eddie Guerrero defended the European title against Essa Rios when Eddie Guerrero was with China at the time.
Yeah, yeah. Then I think Lita was like at ringside for Essa Rios.
Yes. Yeah, and Essa Rios was like some Mexican wrestler.
Yeah, I think he was the light heavy. I think he was the one that dethroned Gilbert for the light heavyweight championship.
Yeah. So Gilbert, there's a Goldberg.
Hey, Gilbert.
A smaller version of Bill Goldberg, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
that was also a good match.
Oh yeah. But yeah.
But I would
say Backlash 2000 was underrated. Doesn't get enough credit.
I think everybody gives it credit. I won't say call it underrated. I think everybody loves this show.
Yeah, but
we just look at them. I mean, we got
we got
variety on there. We got the chaotic main event. We got Big Show Hogan in there, and you got the hardcore stuff. You got tag team wrestling in there.
And this was the second to last Backlash towards the end of the Attitude Era, by the way.
Yeah.
At this time, and the last Backlash pay-per-view event that where WCW, this was the year before, because Backlash 01, WCW was already out of business. Backlash 2000 was the last Backlash, event, where at the time, in 2000, WCW was somewhat still in business before they went out of business in March 2001, before Vince McMahon purchased WCW. Then shortly after that, ECW, when they went bankrupt in April 2001. And they had the whole Invasion storyline, which was god-awful. We won't talk about that Alliance crap that was trash. But people, ladies and gentlemen, that is our top three for each of us, top three favorite Backlash moments, PLEs of all time, the two of us. And now we are going to talk about Backlash tonight. We're going to give our preview predictions for Backlash later on tonight. Backlash live later on tonight is going to be live from St. Louis, Randy Orton's hometown. We just had WrestleMania, and now we got another paper PLE already in Backlash. I want to ask you first, thoughts on this Backlash build?
Thoughts on the Backlash build? I will say, though, in terms of match quality, this may surprise us. I think this could end up being a very good pay-per-view. Some of the matches, in terms of match quality, won't be surprising. In terms of, how good they would be, like Becky and Lyra, Dominic and Penta.
Yeah, Dominic and
maybe,
Penta.
Gunther and Pat McAfee, I think it will be a really good match. I mean, Pat McAfee, say whatever you want about him as a commentator. When he gets in the ring, he does good.
He does. So just look at his TakeOver 30 match with Adam Cole. That's all you need to know about Pat McAfee.
Yeah, not just that. He wrestled Austin Theory at WrestleMania 3 years ago. He wrestled Baron Corbin.
Yep.
So in terms of in-ring, he locks it in. He puts his working boots on.
He does.
And then you got Gunther, who's like, the best wrestler in-ring wise in that whole company.
Absolutely.
And one of the best, one of the best in the world.
Yeah. I will say Cena and Orton, I don't expect that to be a good match at all because Cena's very washed and Orton's not really a ring leader. But then you got Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria. I'm liking what they're doing. That should be good. That should be a good match as well. And then you got what else you got in there?
They got the Fatal 4-Way match for the U.S. title: Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I expect that to be a banger.
Yeah, I think this could be. I think this could be the best match on the entire show.
Absolutely, but I think the Backlash build has been better than the WrestleMania build. Like less than 3 weeks into Backlash, just getting out of WrestleMania in Vegas this year. I will say the build to Backlash is better than the WrestleMania build. The build to Backlash is better than the WrestleMania build, in my opinion. Especially the Raw side. Raw's been very good coming out of WrestleMania, especially that pairing with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman, and now you got CM Punk feuding with them. Then when Roman Reigns comes back, that's going to be even better. You got Jey Uso and Sami Zayn involved. And I think that leads into WrestleMania next year with Sami Zayn potentially winning the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 42 from either Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker, which I think would come off fantastic.
Yeah.
Because Sami Zayn's
next year, and then when they hand it to Saudi.
Yeah, the Rumble next January in 2026 is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I'm predicting Sami Zayn to win the Rumble next year. Then he wins the world title at WrestleMania.
Just don't have that be a 50-man Rumble.
I doubt it. I doubt they have a 50-man Rumble.
Just don't make it a 50-man Rumble, please.
Yeah, like the greatest Royal Rumble. Yeah, that was too much. It was too much, to be honest.
Just keep it 30. Keep it 30.
It was all mostly jobbers in that 2018 Greatest Royal Rumble where Braun Strowman won.
Was this also the match that had the Yokozuna lookalike?
Oh my god, yeah. They thought Yokozuna was still alive, and they get like not Dabba-Kato, that's some sumo guy.
I think that's that sumo guy that also looked like Yokozuna.
You know who you also have? Rey Mysterio there, which was nice. You had the Great Khali in there. He didn't last long, thank God, but why? Great Khali was in there.
We had Orton. We had Jericho, his last WWE match for now.
Yeah, you had Shane McMahon in there. You had Daniel Bryan enter one. He was in the final 3.
Yeah, he was in the final 3. I think he lasted till the very end. How long did he last? Like what? An hour and 30 minutes?
Yeah, at least something like that. But he had his chest was all beat red. He wrestled guys.
We had Kurt Angle. We had an interaction with Kurt Angle,
Roderick Strong, the New Day, Tony Nese, I think Otis or Tucker, one of the Heavy Machinery guys. Also, I think Chad Gable, Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio, who was in there. Big Cass,
Big Bill, yeah, Big Cass.
Yeah, Kevin he was Owens. The final 2 with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, I think, was there. I think this was like the first and only time he worked a Saudi show, and then he didn't work another one since because Sammy wasn't working the shows for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but that's changed now with Sammy over there now, apparently.
Yeah.
And I think Mark Henry in there, Dolph Ziggler.
Was Bobby Roode in this match?
Yes, yeah, well, I think he was. Yes, he was in there.
Yeah, Bobby Roode was there. You had Hornswoggle.
Oh my fucking Hornswoggle.
The Leprechaun.
Who got a big reaction to Roman Reigns that night. Which is facts.
Sad.
A fourth baby face in Roman Reigns in 2018, and Hornswoggle is more over than him that year.
That is sad. So sad.
A freaking leprechaun, a former cruiserweight champion, mind you. The guy who had a terrible storyline with Vince McMahon in 2007 as who was the illegitimate bastard son of Vince McMahon. And it was revealed to be fucking Hornswoggle.
All this match needed was Fit Finlay.
Yeah.
Have him enter the match and have him and have him help Hornswoggle.
Just don't forget the shillelagh that Finlay usually carries to the ring, man.
Yeah, that's all that match needed.
Because Finlay, those Irishmen love to fight. But I mean,
keep the Rumble match in Saudi to 30.
Yeah, you don't need more than 30. Even the 2011 Royal Rumble, which had 40 men, which is too much, overkill. All it was jobbers, like the 2018 Greatest Royal Rumble, and it wasn't that.
We had people such as Mason Ryan in this fucking.
The rip off Batista.
Yeah, that sums up the Rumble match.
The rip off Batista.
Alberto Del Rio won that fucking match.
Yeah, it's Santino in the final 2 with Del Rio.
This imagine is 2011.
Imagine had Santino won that
Rumble. Rumble in a nutshell, right there. Santino and Alberto in the final.
Yeah, it's Santino. Yeah, Santino almost won with the Cobra.
Now looking back at it, that I would have actually preferred that Del Rio winning.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. But this is the 2011 Rumble 40-man Rumble match in a nutshell, right there. Mason Ryan in the match, and poor Bray Wyatt had to portray Husky Harris. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and Alberto Del Rio winning the match, and the final 2 being him and Santino. This is the 40-man Rumble for you.
Yeah, it did have Booker T and Diesel come back, but that was about it.
Yeah, I think Orton was in them. Orton, Cena, and Kane, and Mysterio.
Wade Barrett. Any one of those
Not
could
even
have been
they could
won it.
save this match.
No. You had the releases, the mass releases from 2010. They could have been in this Rumble. You had who had Tyler Rax, who sucked. You had R-Truth, who was not there long. Vladimir Kozlov, who was pretty much dead in the water in 2011. Tagging with Santino. You had Mark Henry before he turned heel in
we had
2011.
CM Punk before the pipe bomb.
Yeah. Punk and Bryan were the final two. Punk should have honestly won that thing.
You had young Daniel Bryan in there. This was before he even won the World Heavyweight Championship by the year's end.
Yeah, who
Mark
Chavo
Henry
Guerrero.
before he was the world's strongest man, but not before world's strongest man. He was the world's strongest man. Before the Hall of Pain.
Yeah,
he was doing nothing at that point.
And then they had Chavo Guerrero. You had Chris Masters in there, John Morrison, William Regal. Morrison could have won it. He just came off a WWE title last man standing match. I mean, Falls Count Anywhere, that first Raw of 2011 against the Miz, who was the champion at the time. Morrison could have won that.
Yeah, we had fucking Chavo Guerrero, the Great Khali.
Oh God, Yoshitatsu, I think.
Alex Ryan.
Jack Swagger. Let's not forget
Jack Swagger. Yeah,
Swagger, former
such
world
an exciting Rumble match there. What an exciting match.
Yeah, he's a former world champion, and he didn't even last long. You had Dolph Ziggler in there. You had Drew McIntyre, the chosen one, who he didn't do anything. Let's be real, he did nothing.
Let's just end this. Let's move on. We're talking about Backlash, not the Rumble.
Yeah,
this is the Rumble match right there. This yeah. You talk about a boring match, an unexciting match. Just naming these participants. I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
That was the Rumble 2011 in a nutshell, folks. So bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but, even with the Cenas and the Orns and the Mysterios of the world, the Kanes of the world, they couldn't save it. Booker T, Kevin Nash, they couldn't save this.
No, not at all. But yeah, especially with the Raw side, going into Backlash, Raw's been very good since coming out of WrestleMania, especially with the Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins pairing with Paul Heyman. And then Heyman cut a very good promo against Jey Uso this past Monday on Raw. The opening of Raw this past Monday, really good stuff.
I'm right. I'm always right.
I'm the scumbag. I'm the bad guy. I'm wrong. I'm in the right. I'm right. And I thought Paul Heyman almost looked like, I know a lot of people don't like Trump and call him Orange Man. Man, Heyman, I thought he was going to have a damn heart attack. He looked so orange out there. I thought he was going to have a freaking heart attack, man.
Yeah. It was
and
like
he got chance of views, he got chance of asshole. It was great though. When you get chance of those directed at a heel, you know you're doing a good job as a heel.
Yeah.
And Heyman really lately has brought out that ECW Heyman as of late, ever since turning on Punk and Reigns at WrestleMania 41 Night 1.
Yeah.
Even that WWE World, I think it was Pat McAfee, Paul Heyman was on. And I think a fan yelled, "You suck," and Paul Heyman called him right out and made him look like a literal fool. It was great. And Paul Heyman was like, I may suck, but it was your mother who taught me how. Kind of bringing out that Kurt Angle ECW One Night Stand 2005 vibes, which was absolutely just great heat magnet vibes, man. It was great. Absolutely just fantastic stuff. But I will say, for build-wise, it's been better than Mania build. I will say, though, it could have had a little bit more time to build. But
I'll say in terms of the matches, they've been built nicely. In terms of the matches, they've been built nicely, but it kind of feels rushed.
Yeah, because we just had WrestleMania, and less than 3 weeks for our next PLE is not enough to get you to care.
And then we have, we have Money in the Bank, and we have
Night of Champions.
Yeah, we
Money
have
in the Bank on June 7th.
I'm assuming it's going to be in Saudi. That will, potentially have Evolution.
Yeah, you got Money in the Bank and Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, June 7th. Then early that day is Worlds Collide at Kia Forum in Los Angeles early that day. Then you got Night of Champions in Saudi, June 28th. Then you got possibly Evolution, July 5th in Connecticut. Then you got SummerSlam in New Jersey, MetLife, August 2nd, August 3rd. It's like back-to-back PLEs, man. Then you got Clash in Paris in August 31st. You got the Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia in mid-October. You got Survivor Series in San Diego, Petco Park in San Diego, baseball field at the end of
Yeah,
November.
but you look at this, we got Backlash, Evolution, then SummerSlam, Clash at the Castle, and then
Crown Jewel.
Worlds Collide, Night of Champions. I think they did slow it down though when it comes to the pay-per-views.
They could. Yeah, they could.
I mean, Money in the Bank is gonna get like a month of build, and like 4 weeks of build. That's almost a month.
Yeah.
So that's at least that
decent time for a pay-per-view build or PLE.
Yeah,
build.
but like 3 weeks is just not enough to build pay-per-view.
It's just
especially when WrestleMania's like in the middle of April. Yeah, it's like especially when WrestleMania was in the middle of April.
Yeah, it didn't really help do any favors whatsoever by having WrestleMania this year towards the end of April. I hope that's the last time they do WrestleMania ever in late April.
Let's just keep it a once of its kind thing, a once in a lifetime thing, and then we head back to early April WrestleManias.
Yeah, well, WrestleMania 42 next year in New Orleans is going to be like April 11th, April 12th, like early April, like mid-April, which is okay. Yeah. It's better than late April, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I can at least stand with that. I can at least be okay with this.
Yeah, but late April, I hope this year's the last time they do that for WrestleMania. And the last time they do WrestleMania in Vegas, because just the build wasn't good and this year's Mania was not that good. Let's be real.
Well, Vegas have their way. I mean, the word on the street is that they're going to pay again to have WrestleMania in the next 5 years.
Oh, please, no. And charge 1,000 tickets for a Mania Vegas ticket again? No, thank you.
You're going to get Travis Scott at the main event, and you're going to love it, damn it.
Oh, God. Fuck Travis Scott, man. I don't want to
hear you're going to get it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be magnificent. Excellent.
Oh, God, please, no. No, God. That is.
Listen to your reaction, bro. You're excited.
That is the one thing I do not want to see or don't care to see. Travis.
Come on now, bro. Don't say you're sad. You're excited. Look at your face. You're excited.
God. I hated that ending at WrestleMania 41 Night 2, bro. That was trash. And The Rock should have showed up. And he didn't show up. Oh, well, everything is a work. My work here is done. Oh, you don't. I'm not needed. Oh, everything is a work. Yeah, Dwayne didn't show up to work. Yeah, either
I will say this though for Cena, he's been doing a good job. I will say with what he has, he has done excellent.
Who?
Yeah, Cena. That promo on SmackDown just yesterday was it was great.
Yeah, I will say though, it could be a lot better. It's kind of not where it needs to be because I feel like Cena turned heel because of Rock, and The Rock should have showed up at WrestleMania this year, and he didn't when he should have. And now I feel like Cena, I feel like he's cutting good promos, yes, but to get him to where it really needs to be, they got to get that back. I'm thinking, and now this is where we'll talk about it because I think I have an idea of how to do that, but we'll talk about that because I got an idea. I want to get your thoughts on it. But yeah, the Backlash build, I will say, is much better than WrestleMania build. I've enjoyed the build, but it could be better because you could have had it next week, Saturday next week would have been better, but we're having it later tonight. But it should be a good show, though. In ring, I mean, it's not going to be. It's not to say it's going to be a bad show, but the build could have been more to care for.
Yeah, I think if they could have given it enough time, I think they needed more time to build the show.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think they add a sixth match tonight, or do they keep it at 5?
I think they keep it at 5.
Yeah, I thought they'd add a 6th match last night during SmackDown, but they didn't. And when Nia Jax beat Jade Cargill last night on SmackDown, I thought we'd get Nia and Tiffany tonight, but we're not, apparently.
I think we'll probably get it at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, I think that's what they do.
Jey Uso versus Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's another match I thought would take place. Jey Uso, Logan Paul for the world title, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, I think we'll get another Cena title defense.
Maybe. I mean, isn't John Cena advertised for Saturday night's main event in Tampa?
Yeah.
So he'll be there then.
I mean, we might as well just do the predictions right now. I mean, I'm thinking, I think it's obvious now. Cena's gonna retain, even if he wasn't that Saturday night's main event and advertised for the show. I don't think he's gonna lose here.
Yeah. But I mean, coming out of Backlash tonight, Saturday night's main event is probably looking like Cena defending the title against whomever. Maybe we get Cody Rhodes tonight. We get Cody getting his rematch against Cena.
I don't think they do Cena versus Cody this quickly at Saturday night's main event. I don't think.
I would say it's Cody and Cena better for Money in the Bank.
Probably. Maybe.
Is what I would say. Leading to Punk and Cena for SummerSlam, where Punk wins the title. But I will say this. I mean, you look at Logan Paul, Jey Uso, Fraxium, the Prophets, Nia and Tiffany, and Cena defending a title against whoever on Saturday night's main event. I think you're looking at a good show for Tampa Saturday night's main event, man. But and I thought Jey and Logan would wrestle tonight for the world title. We're not getting it. Actually, I'm okay with it because I feel like there's maybe, I don't know how you feel. Maybe, do you think someone in the WWE in the back listened that, fans probably don't want Logan and Jey at Backlash?
I don't even know why they wouldn't want this.
They
First of all, I know Logan.
I think it would be for Backlash.
I mean, I get Jey Uso versus Logan Paul isn't exactly what people gotta look at and say, well, that's a world title match there.
Yeah,
but it's here's my hint with this. Logan Paul's not going to win the world title. Jey Uso is not a long-term champion.
No, definitely not. He was never a long-term world champion to begin with. He was just to win the world title off Gunther just for the moment, and then he won't. He's not going to go off like a 6-month title reign or longer like Gunther. I'm thinking he loses it very quickly. No later than SummerSlam to either Braun Breaker or Seth Rollins. One of those two was taking that belt right off of Jey. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, and besides, and also besides that, I don't get why people are upset, with Gunther losing. It's not as if he's been champion for 90% of his run in this company.
Yeah.
If anything, this is kind of what he needed. Having more non-title feuds. Because he spent majority of his run there as a champion. Yeah. What do you want? What do you want? You want him to lose again to Jey Uso? Give me a break.
Especially how Jey Uso beat him at WrestleMania, which I did not like.
You want this to happen again? Come on.
Gunther just tapped out in 2 seconds at WrestleMania, which I hated. That was terrible.
The only thing worse than him losing to Jey Uso once is him losing twice.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah. So, I mean, Backlash should be a good show though tonight, but we might as well start with the.
The reason it's not on the show, maybe because this is what they said.
Yeah.
Maybe adding, because with these Triple H pay-per-views, there's no more than 5 or 6 matches.
Yeah.
Unless it's a SummerSlam or WrestleMania.
I would think I thought they'd add a 6, but I guess not. Which, I mean, I would say they should add a 6 match, but I'm fine with a 5 match, I guess.
Plus, they have Saturday night's main event in the same month, so that maybe they wanted a big match for that show.
Maybe. For Tampa, Florida, at the Yuengling Center, apparently.
Yeah, and we're going to get 2 world title matches on that same show.
Yeah, maybe that's why they just added John Cena and Orton for a world title match for tonight's show later on, so. Yeah. Probably, but it should be a good show, though, tonight, nonetheless, but we might as well start the first match out of 5. Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship against Penta Zero Miedo. This should be good. I'm thinking Dominic retains. Yeah, wearing one of the Penta shirts, man.
Yeah, you're starting off with Penta there. That's perfect.
Yeah, how fitting. How fitting. But Penta and Dominic should be really good. I would not be upset if Penta won the Intercontinental title. He'll be a champion in the future, but I think Dominic retains here. He just won the Intercontinental title, and there's more story to tell with the IC title involved with Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor. Now you got AJ Styles integrated into this. There's no reason to take the title off Dominic. I think he retains here.
I think same thing. Penta's over. He has done really good ever since coming into WWE this year.
Yeah, they booked him very well since coming over too.
Yeah, he had a great performance as well at WrestleMania.
Yeah, great performance in the Rumble. He killed it at Mania Night 2.
Yeah,
in Vegas.
I think he will be a champion. I think he will be also a singles champion. I think he may win the IC title at some point, maybe before the year's end. Just not now. There's more story there, with Dom. Dom just won the IC belt, and he's also getting over. He's getting, the crowd now are getting behind him.
They are.
I think Dom. I think though it would be a disservice to Dom if he loses tonight, just after and get just a 3-week reign.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty booking if he loses the title of Penta tonight.
Yeah,
I think Dominic.
I think Finn Balor does get involved though in the match.
Yeah. Since Dominic just won it, I would say Dominic holds the title, the IC title that is, until at least SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think there's a story there with the Judgment Day. Well, who's gonna get kicked out between Finn or Dom? I think it should involve the IC title.
Yeah, I think we're getting Finn Balor versus AJ Styles this Monday on Raw, which also should be telling. I think AJ Styles are expecting to win that match, and I think that's where Finn's going to lose, and he's going to get kicked. That's where he officially is kicked out of the Judgment Day. And I think it leads to going into the summer, AJ and Finn, former Bullet Club leaders teaming up, reuniting to take on the Judgment Day. Dominic and McDonough. And then it can lead to SummerSlam and MetLife for the Intercontinental title, Dominic versus Balor. And that's where Finn Balor wins the Intercontinental title, and you start his big singles push there. And I think WrestleVotes tweeted out at the end of last year, 2025 Finn Balor is supposed to get a big singles push this year, is Finn Balor on his own. Maybe this is what they do with that.
I mean, Judgment Day is pretty much on its last legs, really.
It's on life support, bro. As soon as when Balor is out of Judgment Day, that group is done.
I think this is Judgment Day is pretty much on its last legs. Like the only two last remnants of that group is Finn and Dom, and they're feuding with each other now.
And then Priest and Rhea really made that group as well, big time. Now they're not in the group anymore.
No, they're not in this group anymore.
Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Like when Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were in the Judgment Day, it was great. It was Judgment Day, but now it's not. It's a shell of its former self. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Carlito, who's just there, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor. Dominic, I can't see really as a leader of that group at all. After Balor's out of the group, he might as well just kill the group. At that point. And there's a reason they have Seth and Braun as a new duo faction taking over Raw. There's a reason for it, because I'm sure Triple H even knows that Judgment Day is at this point is dead.
Yeah.
But I'm going Dominic. I'm sure you got Dominic on the board.
Yeah, we got Dominic, yeah. I think Balor, though, plays a role in the match. I think he gets involved.
Yeah.
Maybe he
don't forget AJ Styles, too.
Yeah.
Definitely AJ Styles. But, I mean, I think Dominic wins, but he doesn't win clean.
Yeah.
I think he wins by cheating.
Like, who knows? Maybe you can, we talk about AJ and Finn. Maybe you add Penta into the storyline as well.
Yeah, you could.
Maybe have him, him, AJ, and Finn against Balor, GD, and Carlito.
Yeah.
Maybe as a mixed, maybe as a tag, as a trios match on Raw these days.
Yeah, something along those lines. But it should be good stuff. I think this probably opens the show, in my opinion. That or the U.S. title Fatal 4-Way. But I expect this to be a banger match, Dominic and Penta. But I'm going Dominic to retain. Should be very good stuff. And then, we just spoke about a few moments ago, the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. title. We got Jacob Fatu, Yadamin, the Samoan Werewolf, defends a U.S. title against Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and L.A. Knight. Yeah. Fatal 4-Way, U.S. title. This should cook, and I think this steals the show, hands down. The U.S. title scene has not looked this good in a very long time. And coming out of WrestleMania, ever since Fatu's won the U.S. title, I'm telling you, that mid-card on SmackDown, man, loving what they're doing. And you have all these 4 guys involved. And then they got the Solo Sikoa factor as well. They're teasing the Solo and Jacob thing, where Jacob Fatu pretty much says he doesn't need Solo Sikoa anymore. You gotta mean. That's Jacob Fatu's new catchphrase. You gotta mean. I don't know if I'd be saying that often, but I digress. But Jacob Fatu, man, he's awesome. He's absolutely incredible. Will be a world champion within the next couple years. I'm telling you right now. Don't be shocked if it happens, because I think it's gonna happen. He's just that good. And LA Knight's great, but I'm tired of him feuding with the Bloodline. He's been feuding with Bloodline for what? Ages? It's time to move on from
He's been feuding with them since 2023. The end of 2023.
I'm tired of that, bro.
Can we please end this?
Can we move LA Knight? Can we move on? Can we move on from the LA Knight and Bloodline shit, please, and give LA Knight something different? Like, I'm telling you, I hope. And there's a rumor apparently that a draft is going to happen sometime this year after WrestleMania. I hope that's in the plan, because I feel like LA Knight should absolutely in the draft move to Raw. Just get him away from the Bloodline, man.
Please.
All he's done is feud with the Bloodline. He's done everything on SmackDown. If there's anyone that really needs a change of scenery and move to Raw, it's LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no pun intended, but it's ridiculous every week. Tag team match against the Bloodline, singles match against Solo, LA Knight for Solo Sikoa. How many times have we seen that already? LA Knight versus Tonga Loa, LA Knight versus Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa. Like, enough.
Don't forget the LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso.
Oh God, like enough.
LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso.
It's like, end that shit already. It's rinse and repeat, bro, at this point with that. Even Damian Priest now starting to fall into that lump now with the Bloodline. I know with this match, though, but it's like still. But this should be a good match, though, nonetheless. I think just like Dominic Mysterio, no reason whatsoever to take the U.S. title off of Jacob Fatu. He's not losing.
He's not going to lose. He, again, just like with Dom, he just won it at WrestleMania.
I know some people, it's like, oh, Drew McIntyre, he's got to be a Grand Slam champion by winning the U.S. title. No.
Even if Jacob Fatu doesn't even take the loss, I don't think he should lose it.
It's stupid. Either way, whether he's pinned or not, it's dumb to have him lose the title tonight.
The latest he can lose it to SummerSlam. At the latest.
Yes. I agree. Priest, Damian.
Maybe then this is how he ascends to the main event scene.
Exactly. Damian Priest is former U.S. champion, but he's great, but he's not winning. Drew McIntyre's not winning. LA Knight's definitely not winning. I'm telling you right now. And he got the win in a tag match last night on SmackDown with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight and Damian Priest. The opener match of SmackDown last night. LA Knight pinned Solo, and LA Knight stood tall in a tag match. So that being said, LA Knight's not winning. Drew McIntyre stood tall in a beatdown at the post-match attack last night after that match on SmackDown. So McIntyre's not winning, and Priest is not winning. So Fatu is walking in U.S. champion, is walking out U.S. champion. That's what's going to happen.
Plus the story is Jacob and Solo.
Yes.
And Jacob,
a backstage thing last night where Fatu cut a very good promo, by the way.
Yeah. The story is Jacob Fatu finally breaking away from the Bloodline.
Which is inevitable, and because Fatu's so good, so over, and he's going to turn face soon. He doesn't really need the Bloodline anymore,
plus
whatever's left.
They're already getting behind him.
Yeah, he's organically over. He just connects with he just has that natural, genuine, organic connection with the fans, and it's hard to be that over with the audience. And Fatu,
does he really need the Bloodline now? Like, no, he doesn't.
And came in June of last year as a heel, and he's got over very quickly. Within no time at all.
The fans have embraced him.
And if you're a heel, if this was Vince, he would have kept Fatu as a heel. With Triple H, if there's a heel, they're getting cheered, you turn him face. There's a face getting booed, turn him heel. It's that simple under Triple H's concept with the Triple H administration. It's not hard to see and understand.
He's got himself over, and he's gonna be a world champion.
Absolutely,
he's gonna be one of your biggest baby faces. But But in order for that, he's gonna have to lose the U.S. title. But he's not gonna lose it now.
And he's one of the no, definitely not. It's too soon. And he's one of the future pieces of the company. Why would you have him lose this soon? He just won the U.S. title. Like you said, and I agree with you, bro. The latest I could see him drop that U.S. title is by at least SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But I think now Jacob Fatu, he's obviously retaining. I'm hearing rumors of Jeff Cobb. Apparently, it's going to be a Backlash tonight. Could we see Jeff Cobb debut? Because apparently, reports are Jeff Cobb is signed to WWE. He's going to be assigned to the SmackDown brand. What if we see Jeff Cobb interfere in the U.S. title match tonight and somewhat help Jacob Fatu retain? Where LA Knight, I think, is on the verge of winning back the title. Then a guy in the hood comes out, and it's Jeff Cobb, and he costs LA Knight the title. Jacob Fatu retains. And what if this starts? I mean, Jacob Fatu, he's slowly out of the bloodline. And what if, and especially when the Tongans are healthy again, they're back with Solo. What if this leads to a SmackDown 6-man feud with Solo Sikoa and the Tongans, Tama Tonga Tongaloa, against Jacob Fatu, then against Jeff Cobb, and then against, on Fatu's side, a returning Bronson Reed. Imagine a SmackDown trio with Bronson Reed, Jeff Cobb, Jacob Fatu. Imagine. That's a lot of meat, man.
I fear for the roster. That's the thing. You don't want to be. Imagine being told you're gonna have to face a faction that has Jeff Cobb, Jacob Fatu, and Bronson Reed.
I mean, you got Jeff Cobb, Tour of the Islands. You got Bronson Reed, the Tsunami, and Jacob Fatu with the Moonsault Man. Man, dangerous combination of all three of those men.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could still get that. Maybe not right away because Solo feels like Fatu is dumping him, and Solo, I think, is going to replace Jacob Fatu in the bloodline with Jeff Cobb. And then I think you get Bronson Reed involved in this as well when he comes back from his injury. I think eventually leads to Jeff Cobb eventually leaving Solo's group to go with Jacob Fatu. We got Fatu, Cobb, and Reed against the bloodline. I think this all leads to that later down the line. Yeah. I think that would be great. And Jeff Cobb, man, a great talent. I've watched his work on the Indies and New Japan and AEW. The guy is great. And you think a guy like him would sign with AEW, but he's going to WWE and he's in his 40s. Better to go to WWE now while he has the chance because it's
42, but he moves like he's 22.
What?
I mean, he's 42, but he doesn't look like it.
No, not at all. But this, I think, could be his last chance to sign with WWE, and apparently he's locked in there. He could make his WWE debut tonight. I think would be great. I mean, you want to debut Jeff Cobb in the best way possible. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe Fatu retains clean and Solo comes out to celebrate, but Fatu has none of it. And then Solo calls in Jeff Cobb, come in now, like to give the signal, and Jeff Cobb attacks Jacob Fatu. They could do that too.
You can do that.
Maybe it leads to Jeff Cobb versus Jacob Fatu at SummerSlam, maybe for the U.S. title. I wouldn't mind it. So
I like where it's going for a new debuting guy. You want Jeff Cobb to look like a monster.
Yes.
You want the fans to take him seriously. You have him go after the U.S. title. Maybe he wins the U.S. title at SummerSlam.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, listen, the possibilities are endless with Solo and Jacob. Maybe at least it's Solo, Jacob, and Jeff Cobb at SummerSlam and a triple threat for the U.S. title and MetLife. The possibilities are endless, and I'm liking where it's going.
Yeah.
I will say. Again, the SmackDown mid-card has not looked this good in a long time, and I'm happy we're seeing it good again right now.
Exactly.
So, and then we go to the next match. Pat McAfee and Gunther. This is from the Raw side. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Gunther just lost the world title at WrestleMania to Jey Uso. After Mania this year, Gunther was just pissed and he destroyed Pat McAfee. Then he tried to destroy Michael Cole.
It
was great.
Pat, he choked out Michael.
Yeah. Tried to make Michael Cole's life a living nightmare. He just destroyed Pat McAfee. Gunther got suspended via storyline. Then Nick Aldis, SmackDown GM, who ran Raw for one night only a few weeks ago, came out said to Pat McAfee, you're not getting Gunther until Backlash, and that's how the match was made. They had a very good face-to-face on Monday this past week with Gunther and Pat McAfee. Really, really good stuff. And like you said, I know a lot of people don't really like this. It's like, oh, Gunther deserves better. Why are you putting him in there with a commentator? Why is a commentator?
He lost to the Yeet Man.
Yeah, lost to the Yeet Man, and now you have him in a match with Pat McAfee. Like, Gunther deserves better. He was just the world champion. How could you do this to him? I get it. I do. But I don't think it's that bad. I think you guys just need to calm down.
The Gunther will be just fine.
Yeah. I expect this to be good, but I expect Gunther to go in there, not only win, I expect him to destroy Pat McAfee as he should. I don't want to see Pat McAfee get most offense. Gunther should just go in there. It should be a quick squash. Gunther absolutely destroying Pat McAfee, bloodshed. Destroy. I would, if I was booking this, I would have Gunther just squash Pat McAfee tonight, like he destroyed Jimmy Uso when he made Jimmy bleed. It was a few weeks before Mania on Raw, where Jey Uso was handcuffed to the ropes and Gunther just like made Jimmy bleed, and Jimmy's blood was on Gunther's like chest. That's how I would book Gunther and Pat McAfee tonight, just like that.
Yeah, that's how you book the match.
And that would get heat back on Gunther, because I think he lost some heat following the WrestleMania 41 loss to Jey Uso. And you want to get heat back on Gunther, that would be a good way to do it.
Plus, all this match is a plot device.
This is just an appetizer to get to the inevitable Gunther match against, because Pat McAfee's an NFL player. He's going to get destroyed by Gunther tonight. Pat McAfee's going to have to make a call to another former NFL player or football player to help against Gunther. And you know where I'm getting here. I don't want to see it, but we're unfortunately going to get Gunther versus Goldberg.
It's going to happen. Whether we like it or not, it's going to happen.
Gunther, unfortunately, in a match with Bill Goldberg, which should last no more than 3 minutes. And apparently that is going to be, and that, folks, is going to be Goldberg's retirement match, which he should put over Gunther. I would say Gunther and go ahead.
Gunther should win, and he should retire Bill Goldberg.
Yes. Whether that's at SummerSlam or I think it would be Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions, I think, is where they do Gunther versus Goldberg.
I think it's going to be the SummerSlam match.
Over the Saudi match?
I mean, this is the first two-night SummerSlam. First ever two-night SummerSlam. I think they want as much big matches as they can.
Maybe. I don't know, but I mean, we'll see.
If it's going to be Goldberg's last ever match, you want him to go out, in front of, 70,000 people?
Probably in New Jersey.
In MetLife?
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see whatever they want to do. But
plus, this will also, regain heat on Gunther.
Yes, he destroys Pat McAfee,
right now.
Then he retires Goldberg. That gets a lot of heat, even more heat on top of that, back for Gunther.
Yeah.
Because he lost steam coming out of the WrestleMania 41 loss to Jey Uso. Imagine him destroying Pat McAfee, like bloodshed. Then he retires Goldberg at the Goldberg's retirement match, and Gunther's the man to retire Goldberg. I think that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be great. And also, I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan. I want to get your take on this. I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan, but I have to admit, and I have to be honest with you, this Gunther McAfee stuff hasn't been bad. And I think and I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan, but if you're going to bring him back for his retirement match against a guy like Gunther and with a fashion like this, it kind of, I don't know how you feel. I mean, under Vince, Goldberg just forced, but I feel like with this Gunther thing, it's kind of genuine because Gunther's like this big mean bully and he destroys Pat McAfee and he thinks he can throw his weight around, do whatever he wants. And he's the ring general, and thinks he can destroy Pat McAfee and do whatever he wants. No one can touch him or stop him. And Pat McAfee calls in Goldberg. Goldberg's music hits, and Gunther thinking he can bully around Goldberg. Goldberg hits the spear during the build. He set up Goldberg and Gunther in the Goldberg retirement match at Night of Champions or SummerSlam. and Gunther's the man to retire Goldberg, and that gets even more heat back on Gunther after destroying Pat McAfee at Backlash. I think it's great, and honestly, it's genuine. I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan, but I feel like with this instance, it doesn't feel forced. It just kind of feels genuine.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it.
And they've been teasing this match since October.
Yes,
there's a build
in Atlanta.
Yeah, there's a tease there. We saw the tease, of a future match.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of genuine. I'm not as mad about it.
Yeah, and you can trace it back. There's a story.
There is. There really is. And we thought Gunther would wrestle Goldberg for the world title at WrestleMania. Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking Goldberg was getting stem cell treatment on his shoulder. I think he got shoulder. He's fresh off shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
He's getting stem cell treatment. This way, he's held off on his retirement match.
Yeah, but if you want Goldberg to go out in style of the retirement match, putting over Gunther, I mean, the way Gunther is, how great of a heel he is, and you want to bring in Goldberg that way, I think that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's actually is genuine. It's not Goldberg being forced. It's not forced with Goldberg.
Exactly.
Actually, it feels genuine.
It makes sense to do it.
It does. It does. I mean, and whatever you do with Gunther after he retires Goldberg, I don't know. We'll see. But, I mean, that should be not a concern right now. But I expect Gunther just to destroy Pat McAfee tonight. He makes Pat McAfee bleed. I expect it to be a squash. I don't want to see Pat McAfee get offense or something like that, most offense. It needs to be like a quick 3-minute match, and Gunther just destroy Pat McAfee. That's what needs to happen. If they have it be a straight wrestling match and evenly matched, that's bad. They can't do that with this match. Gunther's going to go in there, absolutely destroy Pat McAfee. No ands, ifs, or buts. So yeah. I got Gunther. I'm sure you got Gunther.
Yeah, I think Gunther wins this.
Yeah. And then we get the women's intercontinental title match. Lyra Valkyria, the Bird Girl, defending against Becky Lynch, who came back at WrestleMania, apparently attacked Bayley. Becky and Lyra won the women's tag team titles, only to lose them back to Liv and Raquel the next night on Raw, on the Raw after Mania. After that, Becky turns heel, attacks Lyra, gives Lyra Valkyria multiple manhandle slams. Becky Lynch goes heel for the first time since 2022. And Becky Lynch, the second Raw after Mania, reveals that she's the one that attacked Bayley and said, no, don't act like I'm the bad one because Bayley attacked me in 2019. I never got one apology. And then Lyra decides to team with that one Bayley, and he said something about that, like the enemy, like the friend of my enemy is the enemy. Then Lyra came out and she said, I'm a better person, better wrestler than you, Becky. And, I no longer care about being the next Becky Lynch. And that you didn't make me Becky, that I made me. And Lyra and Becky, I'll tell you, man, and especially the promo segment Lyra and Becky had this past Monday on Raw, really good promo stuff with both ladies, especially from Lyra Valkyria. And you're finally starting to see the personality come out of Lyra now, which we haven't seen out on the main roster until now. And I'm loving what they're doing with Lyra. And say what you will about Becky Lynch, calling Becky Lynch, like saying Becky Lynch is Becky Hogan, this and that. The past couple weeks, since the start of this Becky Lyra build coming out of WrestleMania, coming out of the Raw after Mania, bro, Becky has made Lyra look very good on the microphone and program-wise. Becky's made Lyra look very good.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you got something to say on this.
And she's made her look strong. I mean, say whatever you want. I mean, she does care for that division.
Oh, Becky Lynch is Becky Hogan. She's selfish, all about herself.
Yeah, and in 2 weeks, she made Lyra Valkyria look good more than Charlotte ever did Tiffany in 3 months.
At least, I mean, Charlotte fucking sandbagged Tiffany. Let's be real.
That build up to Mania was atrocious.
Charlotte didn't make Tiffany look good at any promo going into that match at all. Charlotte did not make her look good whatsoever. The match sucked. And Charlotte gave her bloody mouth because Charlotte didn't get her way at WrestleMania. Sorry, Charlotte. Tough. it's not about you anymore, Charlotte, and things have quite frankly passed you by, Charlotte. And Tiffany went over, and rightfully so. And then Charlotte last night on SmackDown had the nerve to say, "Oh, I'm next for a title match. I'm the queen. I'm next for a title match. Charlotte and Tiffany was the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history, and I'm next for a title shot. Next line for a title shot. Charlotte, honey, you lost clean at WrestleMania. When are you?
As if WrestleMania didn't happen.
Yeah, like
as if WrestleMania didn't happen. It
insults the fans' intelligence, and you wonder why people can't stand fucking Charlotte.
I'm gonna say this though, they're probably gonna do something with her and Jade, probably non-title, or should be.
As long as it's not for a title, please.
Yeah, I can actually get behind this. Just don't involve a championship. That's the last thing we need.
Yeah. Anything Charlotte title shot, anything with Charlotte involving a title, please. I reach for the remote control and I pretty much changed the fucking channel. I don't want to see that. And even Jade Cargill put Charlotte right in her place last night. Charlotte, you lost. Back of the line you go. So at least Jade Cargill knows. But what Charlotte said last night, it insults the fans' intelligence. And you wonder why people don't like Charlotte, and it's for the wrong reasons.
Oh, well. How are you going to say you want a championship match when you just lost clean at the biggest show of the year?
She lost clean as a whistle to Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. As far as I'm concerned, Charlotte gets no more title shots. And she won the Rumble, which she should not have won. Let's be real. She should have never won the Rumble from the start. And she lost clean to Tiffany. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Charlotte's done with the title. It's over. Back in the line and let someone else take the spot. Like Jade Cargill.
Have Naomi be the one to win the title off of Tiffany.
Yeah, Naomi's another one. Naomi's actually been putting in good work lately as a heel. And Jade Cargill actually won at WrestleMania, unlike Charlotte.
Exactly.
And apparently, yes, Dayton, Ohio last night SmackDown booed Charlotte out the building. Oh, well, I was out for 2 years with a knee injury, and yet you boo me. I'm going to leave if you continue to boo.
I mean, I will say they're leaning into it. I must say. I mean, for as much as we can crap here, but they're leaning into it. I think this is like, in a way they're leaning into Becky, being Becky Hogan. Like, give me a fucking break, Becky Hogan.
Oh, that'll work. Oh,
can we stop comparing people to Hogan?
That'll work for me, bro. Oh, that'll work for me, brother. Oh, I can't.
The only person that we should be compared to Hogan is, out of all the people to compare to Hogan, Becky shouldn't even be one of them.
And what was she at, like Raw, the Raw talk show right after Raw this past Monday, and Becky Lynch was interviewed. She was in character, but she buried the comments calling to those who call her Becky Hogan. I mean, Charlotte pretty much buried those ones.
Yeah, they're doing something though with Charlotte and Alexa that could be interesting.
Yeah, and I think it was teased before Charlotte came back early this year that Charlotte was teasing, and it was going to be Charlotte having a new, darker persona.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, she needs something new. Got to do something new with her.
Queen gimmick since day one, since 2015. Charlotte's character is beyond stale. It needs a change.
Yeah, they need something new. They need to do something different with her badly.
And Alexa did come out of the SUV after the Charlotte segment last night during SmackDown and said to Charlotte, "Hey, let's chat."
Yeah, maybe this sets up the return of the White Six. Maybe.
Does Charlotte join the White Six? I'm not sure how I feel about that, but just give Charlotte a different fucking character and get her out of the title picture for now. Have her rack up wins, and then at least she's earned the title shot.
Yeah, please.
Just because your last name is Flair doesn't mean you always get awarded a title shot. That's not how it works. And Vince McMahon's not there anymore to hand you title shots anymore. But Becky and Lyra, I'm liking their program. I'm not a big fan of Becky as a heel, but I could see why they did it. Because you look at the Raw Women's division, there's not that many heels. And I think turning Becky, for now,
Liv Morgan is going to be out for a month because she's filming a movie.
Yeah, Liv Morgan is out for a month filming a movie, and she's a heel. Raquel Rodriguez, she's a heel, but she's not someone you think of as a top legit heel in the women's division on Raw. She's more mid-card, so she doesn't really count. They just called up Roxanne Perez and Julia to Raw, so that helps, but
they just started. They're just getting started.
Very true, yes. Very
you don't have to rush them. I mean, they're excellent. They're going to be top female talent, but you don't have to rush them.
Absolutely, I agree. But
plus, they're in a storyline with Rhea Ripley and Io.
Yeah, but I could see why they turned Becky heel for that reason alone. But
yeah, you're gonna need a top heel. But yeah, I mean, they're running shortage of top heels in that division.
And also to get the women's IC title to where it needs to be, I feel like Becky, especially now as a heel, has really got that women's IC title right now to where it needs to be. Because before Becky came back, the women's IC title, it wasn't where it needed to be at all. Oh well, Lyra Valkyria is a good wrestler, but you need story. You're not just in ring, just scraps. In ring wrestling will get you so far. You need story. I could show the personality out of Lyra Valkyria as well. She was wrestling Ivy Nile, Dakota Kai, good matches, but it was just there, the women's IC title. It wasn't to the prestige to where it should. It wasn't to where it needed to be at all. Yeah, and I know they just introduced the women's mid-card titles, but they need to they need to do better and get the title, those mid-card women's titles, to get them to where they should be at. I mean, just like Zelina Vega, Chelsea Green, just a wrestling match, no story, ain't gonna cut it. Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai, Ivy Nile for it's just a match for the IC title, no story. That's not gonna cut it. They need to give you a reason to care. And ever since Becky Lynch came back and is now a heel feuding with Lyra for the women's IC title, I feel like it's kind of made the women's IC title for the first time since its introduction right now feel somewhat important. And that just goes to show you how good Becky Lynch is. And it's not going to be a one and done with these two, I feel. And I think you have Bayley involved since Becky Lynch attacked her at WrestleMania. And I'm liking the personality coming out of Lyra Valkyria finally, right now for the first time since joining the main roster. Because she's a good wrestler, but she needs work on the promo department. But that's why you have Becky Lynch to help her.
Yeah.
I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, it's helping a lot. I mean, this is what the mid-card division. Yeah, I think we stated when they were introducing these mid-card titles, I think they needed to be established and have their first champions be like established talent.
Absolutely. And you were vocal before. Bayley should have been the first ever women's U.S. champion instead of Chelsea Green, and she was not a good. Her reign was not good.
She did nothing with that fucking belt.
All she did was wrestle Meat Chan a couple dozen fucking times. Got very boring very quickly, and you had B-Fab in there, Zelina Vega. That's not it's not what you think of when you think of a women's U.S. title. And honestly, looking at the depth right now for both divisions for the women on Raw and SmackDown, they honestly should have had just one women's mid-card title for now. And then when you add more depth to both divisions for the women on Raw and SmackDown, then you can introduce the other women's mid-card title. I think that's how they should have done it.
Yeah.
Oh well, you can't. Oh well, the other women are on the other show that don't have their own mid-card titles going to get upset. I mean, you got to do what's right. You got to do what makes sense. Had they added that women's IC title or US title first, then the other one later on, that would have been much better. Instead of what we have now. And now it's it takes time to build those titles up to where they need to be. But with the feud with Becky, who's legit, who's a big star. I don't care what anyone says, she's a big star. When you have someone like that in the women's IC title picture, it makes the women's IC title feel a lot more important. And that's what they need. More legit name, star power to get those women's mid-card titles to where they need to be. That's what they need. And that's what they should be doing, honestly, for the women's U.S. title on SmackDown, what they're doing on Raw.
Yeah.
And I expect Becky Lynch to, unfortunately, win the championship, but I don't think it's a one and done.
I'm thinking we get Bayley versus Becky at Evolution for the IC title, if you're asking.
Yeah, maybe Lyra versus Becky versus Bayley at some point. But I think, because Lyra's been doing very well on the mic lately, I think because Lyra's a future piece of the company for many, many years to come, and this is only the beginning for Lyra Valkyria, I feel like she loses the title here to Becky later on tonight, and they have Lyra Valkyria in chase mode. And she eventually wins the women's IC title back.
Yeah.
I would say. I would say have Becky win. You have Bayley involved. Bayley could win it. Becky could win it. Then Lyra wins it back at the end of the rivalry. Maybe you have a triple threat at the end. And maybe you have Lyra after she wins it back from Becky. Bayley can win it once again. They can move Lyra up to the main event. Maybe Lyra Valkyria wins the Women's Rumble next year. And she wins the Women's World title from Becky. And maybe this is far-fetched, too far-fetched for me. Maybe I'm thinking ahead too much. Maybe it leads to Becky versus Lyra next year at WrestleMania 42 for the Women's World title, where Lyra wins the Women's World title with Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
But who do you got winning this?
I'm thinking the same thing. I think Becky wins this. She's not going to lose her first match back as a heel.
No. And I think Lyra loses, but I can't see her lose clean.
I'm thinking Becky retains, but by shenanigans.
Or Becky wins by cheating, like Dominic with the men's IC title. I think the same thing with the women's IC title.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Bayley and come back and get involved. I'd be shocked if we see it, but I think we're on the border here. Becky wins, but she cheats, and Lyra enters chase mode. I think that's how they do it, and I think that would be good. That would be a really good story that they're just getting started with. So I'm going Becky Lynch. Oh, and a great line from Lyra Valkyria. Becky Lynch, first ever women's champ on SmackDown, first woman to main event WrestleMania and win, and first ever women's IC. Oh, yeah. Oops, that's right. That's me. That was a great line from Lyra. So she's been doing it lately, personality-wise.
Yeah.
And very attractive is the bird girl, Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
But we then get the main event of Backlash later on tonight. John Cena.
By the way, who knew that birds can fight?
Yes, they're. I mean, she's Irish, is Lyra Valkyria. Both her and Becky are Irish.
Yeah, the Irish, they love to fight.
Yeah, they love to fight, and I mean, they love to soar their wings, like the bird girl, Lyra Valkyria, soar their wings, and the birds that fly.
They can fly and they can fight.
Yes. But, I mean, I always knew Lyra had I always knew she had that personality. We just didn't see it yet.
Yeah, I'm going with Becky winning. I'm thinking this sets up, I think Bayley returns after Money in the Bank, and you get Becky and Bayley in Evolution, and you do a 3-way for the IC title: Becky, Lyra, and Bayley at SummerSlam. I think this is the direction they go with.
Yeah, but I'm liking what they're doing with this, and Well, we go to the main event of tonight's Backlash show later on tonight. John Cena defending the WWE title against Randy Orton. And quote, for the last time ever, Cena versus Orton. And who would have thought 2025 Cena as a heel versus a face Orton? Where back then it was heel Orton, face Cena.
I never thought I'd see the day.
And hi Bruce Harper. And good job, show guys. Thank you, Mitch. And Dylan Ketchum. Hey guys, how's it going? It's going well, Dylan. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. Yeah, Chris Jericho with a learning tree. But Cena versus Orton, you never thought 2025, you never thought you'd see the day Cena as a heel versus a face Orton, where back then, especially in the late Ruthless Aggression era, you had heel Orton and face Cena. Now, I feel like it's kind of overrated, their rivalry, don't you think? Because I mean, they're the great. I mean, it's up their top rivals, but I don't think their matches are that good. It's kind of overrated, their rivalry. I mean, they're two of the biggest names in history over the years. And they had a very good rivalry storyline-wise in 2007 when Cena injured his pectoral muscle. Then Orton punted John Cena's father in the head when Orton was punting like legends and had like Shawn Michaels in the head and Dusty Rhodes, and they had RVD in the head in 2007.
Yeah, they had Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter. And RKO on the chair, through the chair to Cena on Saturday night's main event before SummerSlam 2007, where Cena got the RKO through the steel chair on the outside. And Madison Square Garden, Saturday night's main event, I remember that, man. That was crazy. But, I mean, their storyline's always been good, but their matches have been a lot to been as desired. Their Hell in a Cell was fine in 2009 and in 2014. Their Hell in a Cell encounters. Their Iron Man match at Bragging Rights on I thought was very good, very well executed. I did like their I Quit match from Breaking Point 2009 where John Cena won the championship. I think that was where he had the Orton and the STF with the handcuffs.
Yeah, I think this was the I Quit match at Breaking Point.
Yeah, then they had their first encounter for the WWE title at 2007 SummerSlam in New Jersey, which ironically SummerSlam is in New Jersey this August for SummerSlam 2025, the first ever two-night SummerSlam in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium at Meadowlands in New Jersey. Yeah. How fitting.
Yeah. That's cool.
You know? Yeah. Which I'll be there live, by the way. But, yeah. But, yeah, and then Cena injured his pectoral muscle in late 07. Orton was awarded the title at No Mercy in 07. He had the age of Orton when Orton was champion. But, I mean, I'm liking the promos segments with these two going into tonight. I mean, especially the Raw after Mania, where Cena said the champ is here, and Orton was like right behind him, and Cena's like, shit, an RKO out of nowhere. That was great.
That was fantastic.
And they didn't bleep it out. Cena's like, shit, RKO.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
And then he did it to Cena again. I think the second SmackDown after WrestleMania when Orton's like, Cena, you need to be a father, have kids. It's like, I've raised kids better than you ever could. It's like, you wonder why I don't have kids? It was great.
Yeah.
And then they had a nice segment at the end of SmackDown last night where he had a fake Orton plant. Thought it was Orton, but Orton thought 10 steps ahead of Cena. Apparently, I read it was Shawn Spears.
Yeah. It was,
I thought it was Miles Bourne, honestly, but it was Shawn Spears from NXT.
Yeah. Shawn Spears' his first appearance back on SmackDown since 2018, and it has something involving Randy Orton.
Well, unfortunately, he wasn't a perfect 10, though, last night. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, he wasn't the perfect 10 even then. He had his fingers broken by Randy Orton.
He was negative 10 in 2018, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think this was like his last appearance on SmackDown.
Yeah, when he was Ty Dillinger.
Yeah. Now 7 years later, and here he is being an imposter Randy Orton. His first appearance back on SmackDown in 7 years, and he's a Randy Orton impersonator.
And he fooled Cena and thought 10 steps ahead of him, which I thought was nice.
Long-term booking.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he breaks Ty Dillinger's hands in SmackDown in 2018, late 2018. Now he's helping Orton.
Long-term booking.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, long-term booking. But I mean, as good as the segments were, I mean, it's kind of a little repetitive, I think. This is probably, I don't know if they do this again coming out of Backlash. I don't know. We could see Cody Rhodes back tonight. I don't know. Because he lost the title to Cena at WrestleMania and Cody Rhodes wants the title back. I will say, I mean, kind of repetitive. Like RKO, like Cena cuts a promo, Orton RKO. Like quite a little bit repetitive. Yeah. But, I mean, other than that, I have liked their promo segments going into Backlash with Orton and Cena. And Orton's look good as well, promo-wise as well.
Yeah.
I expect him to get a very big pop tonight in his hometown, no doubt about it, in St. Louis. You may see the hypometer. That when WWE does their international PLEs especially, they have the hypometer for the crowd noise. So maybe loud for
Randy Orton. Orton's family, I think they'll be there.
Yeah, Cena said he's back to ruin pro wrestling, whatever the hell that means. Yeah. He's going to destroy the Ortons and destroy the family. But I don't know. I mean, I think Cena's title run could be much better coming out of WrestleMania because The Rock should have been there. We said we got fucking Travis Scott. Yeah, let's not talk about that. That was so bad at WrestleMania 41 Night 2, that ending. But, yeah. But I will say, though, I mean, their program, Cena and Orton going into tonight's been good, but when the bell rings, like, I hope I'm proven wrong. I don't expect their match tonight to be good at all.
Wait.
I don't expect their match to be good whatsoever. Again, I hope I'm proven wrong. So, I mean, Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I expect the match to bomb tonight because Cena, he's washed. Orton is not really a ring leader. And
that crowd is going to have to do a lot of the ring lifting.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I'm proven wrong, but
I think that crowd is going to do a lot of the big lifting.
I would say Cena, I hope he loses. At this point, I hope Cena loses the title soon back to Cody Rhodes, or CM Punk takes it off Cena at SummerSlam in New Jersey, which would also make sense. But now you want Cena to get heel heat because I feel like because Rock didn't show up at WrestleMania, it kind of ruined Cena's heel run right now and his title win at WrestleMania from Cody at WrestleMania this year, let's be honest. But I think I have an idea to maybe get that heat back on Cena. Now, R-Truth has been on TV lately because John Cena is his childhood hero and such, and R-Truth thinks so highly of John Cena.
He refuses to see him bad.
Yeah. What if we get R-Truth involved tonight? What if he turns heel and costs Orton the championship, and Cena and Truth have somewhat of an alliance? I mean, it's Cena's retirement year, maybe. And
I think Cena needs to be by himself. Does he really need R-Truth?
Well, I mean, they've been teasing it. I mean, R-Truth is funny, genuinely, but R-Truth as a heel in 2011 could have been something.
And do we really need to see R-Truth in the fucking main event scene in 2025? Really?
I mean, he's very underrated as in the ring, but I feel like him being genuinely funny, maybe it's time for a change for R-Truth. And
I don't even think he should. I don't think he should be anywhere near the main event scene. If anything, if you're going to do something with him and Cena, I think Cena should just kick his ass. Honestly,
you don't think R-Truth gets involved, and he.
No, I don't think Cena needs him.
Well, honestly,
I like Truth. I mean, not to twist it. I like Truth, but I just don't think he should be in the main event scene. I'm sorry.
I mean, I know how you feel, but I mean. Then again, I think, and this is where I'm thinking, if it happens and R-Truth comes out, turns heel, and costs Orton the WWE Championship, aligns with Cena, I think we get Cody Rhodes back soon.
Yeah,
I know there was a rumor, apparently John Cena and Travis Scott versus Cody Rhodes and Bad Bunny. I don't like that idea at all. You know what would sound better than that? John Cena and R-Truth versus Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. That sounds a lot better.
Yeah, honestly, if you're gonna have R-Truth, let's say this: if you're gonna have R-Truth, just in this faction, he's gotta get involved. He's gotta turn here. Just cut off the comedy shit. Honestly, make him see this whooping boy. He just doesn't realize. He's still supporting his childhood hero, and they're warning him. The roster, the fans, they're warning him about Cena, and he's too gullible to see it.
Yeah, or they could, like R-Truth not turning heel, but blind to the fact.
Yeah, he's just blind to Cena.
And Jimmy Uso's
been, and then you start the story, where R-Truth, he just snaps out of it finally.
Yeah, and Jimmy Uso's been saying the truth. Listen, Cena is not good. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
they've been teasing it lately. It makes sense. I think we see R-Truth tonight, but I don't think he goes heel. But he's kind of like blind heel.
Yeah, he's just blind. He's still supporting his childhood hero.
Like, he's not heel, but he doesn't realize what he's doing, and people are trying to help him.
Yeah.
And then eventually when Cena does attack Truth, I think it'd be great. And it could lead to Cena versus Truth for the title, maybe on an episode of SmackDown, and Cena beats him. I would say before SummerSlam. Then you can have Punk and Cena at SummerSlam in New Jersey, and Punk, the Summer of Punk 2. CM Punk becomes WWE Champion again in MetLife, beating John Cena. And then that's where I see Cena going face again. I think is what they do.
Yeah, I think that's exactly,
I think that's what I would do, definitely. But I'm going Cena to win. Orton's going to get a big pop, but he's not winning.
Yeah. I think it's obvious. I think everybody knows it. Cena's going to retain. There's no reason to take the belt off of him. And this is your top storyline on SmackDown. Cena's the heel. He's the heel champion. He's the last real champion of wrestling. This is your top angle on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you
want to make heat on him, he's gonna have to beat. He's gonna have to beat Orton. He's gonna have to beat AJ Styles. If they move it to SmackDown, he's gonna have to. He's gonna beat maybe Punk if you do that match.
And I would honestly have Punk, and I would have Cena drop the title to Punk at SummerSlam.
Honestly, I think the story here is Cody, winning back the championship from Cena, especially after that finish at WrestleMania.
Yeah, honestly, they should give it back to Cody.
Yeah, and after also he was turned on at the Chamber by Cena, like he's gonna get his ass handed to him, and then just for him to not even get his win back.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do Punk and Cena, though, Cena retains. Maybe do that match at SummerSlam, and then maybe in Cena's retirement match, let's say, for the championship, that's when Cody wins the belt back there.
And John Cena has been teasing the dates he has left before he retires and says he's going to leave the company with the WWE Championship.
Yeah,
Either Punk or Cena being the hero to be the hero and stop Cena. I think that'd be great storytelling.
I would say this is the idea. Maybe in Cena's retirement match, maybe because I know he's gonna have he's got 24 appearances left, and he wants to, and he's gonna retire in December. Maybe you do a pay-per-view in December, and Cena's maybe name it after Cena, and then and this is where you do the Cena Cody match, and Cody wins.
And someone also brought up, someone by the name of Eric from Over the Top Rope podcast. He made a very good point. He was on the Raw Chaos coverage, me and him and Pyro Productions this past Monday, after Raw during the Raw post show from this past Monday, right after Raw this past Monday. Eric brought up a very good point. What if how Christmas Day this year is on Thursday, December 25th. Guess what WWE does every December 26th? And December 26th is on a Friday, same day as SmackDown at the end of this year. Madison Square Garden. What if they have a WWE SmackDown live show in the Garden, and that's where Cody wins back the championship off of John Cena? The same city where Dusty Rhodes won the world title, but it was taken away.
You can do that. I think that's perfect.
And you have Cody Rhodes be the hero and ends the villain Cena once and for all in Cena's retirement match.
That's perfect there.
Eric brought up that very good point. So Cena could very well hold the title from Mania 41 till the end of December, where he loses it back to Cody Rhodes. They may very well go that route.
I think they go that route. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think they go that route.
I didn't like it at first because Cena's heel run has not been good at all since The Rock didn't show up at WrestleMania. We don't need Rock anymore. But if he's not going to be committed, but if you want to do that and have Cody Rhodes be the ultimate babyface hero, and no, he's not going to go heel. It's not happening. Rock wanted Cody to go heel, and Rock didn't get his way, and his ego got bruised again. And rightfully so. You want Cody Rhodes to be the ultimate babyface hero? That could be great in New York City, of all places, in the Big Apple. It's synonymous with
20,000 people in the Garden.
Yeah. And it's the day after Christmas. Usually WWE has the MSG show the day after Christmas. I think that would be perfect. They could do that. I would not, but at first I was like, I don't know how I feel, but thinking about it now, I don't think that's probably not a bad idea. As long as they play their cards right. I just don't want to see Travis Scott. R-Truth I could stomach. Well, Travis Scott, no. But they could do that. I wouldn't be upset. So that's probably what they're going to do. That would go over huge in NYC. So I'm going Cena to retain. We could see R-Truth not go heel, but think Cena's still the hero and everyone's trying to talk sense in him. Then Cena eventually turns on him, and they set up an R-Truth Cena match before SummerSlam. But I'm going Cena to win, and I think we may get Cody Rhodes tonight. Who knows? He's rumored to come back soon. I don't think
Cody returns tonight. I don't think.
He's rumored to come back soon. And maybe he's going to be on the SmackDown after Backlash, but I'd be shocked if we see him tonight. Maybe he does. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Maybe they're keeping him under the rug if he's showing up tonight.
Okay, in terms of returns, I don't think he or Bayley are going to show up tonight.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think they wait on Bayley after Money in the Bank. Maybe Cody comes back maybe on the SmackDown after Backlash.
Yeah, that I could see. I would if I would be shocked if we see him tonight. Maybe we do, but I think if I was a betting man, I think back SmackDown after Backlash is where we see Cody Rhodes back for the first time since WrestleMania, where he lost to Cena.
Yeah,
and then they set up John Cena, Cody Rhodes for Money in the Bank or Saturday Night's Main Event. But we think we both got Cena on the board here to retain. Like he just won the title again. So, but folks, we've gone almost 2 hours here, and that is the wrap for the Backlash talk for the third episode of the Forbidden Podcast, man. Really, really good discussion of pro wrestling here. We got Backlash later on tonight. St. Louis should be a good one. Mitch and I will be with Sarah live later on tonight for the Backlash watch party. Hope you guys will be there as well.
We got Backlash. We got, what will be the fallout of it, and the build towards Money in the Bank.
Absolutely. We got the Raw and SmackDown after Backlash. We got the build to Saturday Night's Main Event. And then NXT Battleground, which Adam Carr and I will be on there for the watch party for NXT Battleground May 25th. Tampa, Florida, NXT Battleground, Miles Bourne versus Oba Femi for the NXT title, Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vetcare for the NXT Women's title. I think we got a third match for
Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry.
Yeah, Joe Hendry and Trick Williams for the TNA title. The TNA title defended for the very first time on a WWE PLE or NXT rather. Should be really good. Should be a really good show. But Adam Carl and I will be doing a watch party for that show. Look forward to that. And hit the like on the video. Subscribe to Furious Nation Hardcore Sports. Be greatly appreciated. Make sure you go do that if you haven't done so already. And turn on that bell for all notifications. Give it a super kick. Give it a Braun Breaker Spear. A curb stomp, a tsunami, a crossroads, an RKO out of nowhere, a black mass, whatever you want to call it. Hit that bell for all notifications. After you subscribe to Furious Nation, hit the like on the video. And go subscribe and go follow us on social media. X, Instagram, links in the description. And we appreciate you taking the time out of the day for watching us here today. And we appreciate having you guys on here as always, and we appreciate and love every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a good rest of your day for today. And you will definitely will see you guys for later on for Backlash 2025 live from St. Louis, Missouri. As John Cena, Randy Orton will wrestle for the final time in John Cena's retirement year. For John Cena's 2025 retirement year. Cena Orton, last time ever. Thank you guys once again for joining us, and we will see you guys later on for this fourth episode of Forbidden Podcast. Date for that will be determined, and see you guys later on for all the good stuff here on YouTube on Furious Nation Hardcore Sports, and have a good rest of your day, guys. Peace out.